How are you feeling today? We have Cappuccino as our name of the workout today. Still looking for 5 rounds and still with that 45 seconds of work and 15 seconds of recovery. So be sure to set up your interval timer accordingly. We are going to use some resistance if you have it in this workout. You can use gallon jugs, you can use soup cans, you can use dumbbells if you have them. Either way, this is going to add a little bit more tension to the movements and challenge those muscles in a bit of a different way as well. So we're going to work into some overhead lunge with the right arm up, overhead lunges with the left arm up, some bent over rows to kick back so we can get those back and those triceps, wall sits to bicep curls, some sit-ups, and we're going to wrap it up with some planks. All right, let's jump on in. Alright, to start us off, we have that overhead lunge on the right side here. So Caitlin's got 2 gallon jugs here as resistance. She's got that right arm all the way overhead, arms fully extended, and she has the left arm in that front rack position with the other jug. Additionally, you could only do this with 1 jug or 1 dumbbell if the 2 is a little too challenging, but try to find a good weight that's going to be a little bit of a challenge to stabilize that overhead movement with the arm. So you can notice here the right foot is our planted leg. That's the weight. We want to keep the weight in that right heel, and we want to keep that tension in that right glute. So the whole benefit here of keeping that right arm overhead is it's going to challenge your core a bit more. So keep your abs super tight. Pull them in, tuck that tailbone, make sure you're not arching that lower back as you go through that lunging movement. Alright, so now we are just switching over to the left side. So that left arm is fully extended overhead. It helps if you think about keeping your elbow close to your ear on that left side. You can also push your head into your arm if you need a little extra stability as that arm tires. But again, you've got your left foot planted on this side. We're really keeping that weight in that left heel, so we're pressing straight down through that left heel as we reach that right foot back. And remember with the lunge, that back foot that's reaching, that's more just for balance. We don't want to put too much weight on that back leg. This will help for balance, but this will also help make sure we're prioritizing the muscles in that left leg. So again, here keeping that tailbone tucked, abs pulled in super tight to help stabilize that weight overhead. Okay, we're going to give those legs a bit of a rest here. We're going to do a row into a kickback. So again, you can use gallon jugs, you can use soup cans, you can use dumbbells if you have them. This one, the weight you're going to be using might feel a little light for the row because the harder element of this movement is the kickback. So we've got the butt pushed back, slight bend in those knees, just like as if you're going into a deadlift, but we're maintaining that almost horizontal position of your torso to the ground so that we can really focus in on that pull of the elbows straight back, and then we extend the hands with the weights as those elbows are at your side to hit those triceps. So the big focus here on the row, squeeze the shoulder blades together there, and then extend those dumbbells, kettlebells, whatever you're using on the way back for those triceps. All right, so another 2-part movement here. This time we're assuming that wall sit position, so we want to really pin those shoulders back against the wall. We've sunk down into that seated position where you've got that 90-degree bend in the knees, ideally keeping those knees stacked right over your heels and keeping the weight in those heels. So that's the wall sit portion. Now to add a little bit of a different element, we're adding that bicep curl in with those gallon jugs, the dumbbells, whatever you're using for resistance. Our objective there though is we want to keep your elbows really glued tight to your side. You do not want them flaying wide out of the side or away from your body. We want to keep them tight to your sides to help make sure we're prioritizing those biceps. So again, you can really focus in on that resistance that you're using to squeeze those biceps. Okay, and now we're gonna give those legs a rest. We're gonna go onto your back. We've got a slight bend in the knees, and your heels are gonna be really your anchor points down to the ground here. So we're going all the way back with your arms overhead, and we're gonna throw your arms forward up between your legs to help your torso get up into that sit-up position. So we've got 45 seconds of these sit-ups. As you go back, you can see Caitlin's being careful to go a little bit slower, and she's uncurling from the lower end of her spine to the top of her spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, to really make sure we're emphasizing those abdominals. So you can think about that as you're slowly going to that starting position, and then as you start to get your arms overhead, you can quickly thrust those arms forward to help make sure you're getting a little bit of a boost up to those arms between your legs for that full sit-up. And last but definitely not least, we're gonna hit that core a little bit more here with just a simple plank. So while this is something that might be simple, it's definitely not easy, and we can always adjust it to make it a little more challenging. So up on those toes, those shoulders are right over your elbows, so we've got that pressure going straight down into the floor. Your tailbone is tucked, and as you're holding that position, I want you to think about like you're crunching into your abdominals as you're holding that. Right? So you're kind of crunching down to really get that squeeze into those abs. And if you need to, you can always drop to the knees for a little bit of a breather, but quickly go back up to your toes. If it's a little too easy for you, you can always pick one foot off the ground, and you can also pull back on your elbows so you're crunching even harder into that squeeze. So that is one round. We've got 5 total rounds. So again, make sure you've got your GymBoss app or whatever interval timer app you're using set up to match that 45-15 and the requisite number of rounds and sets. So work hard through these, try to keep that pace going as you're going through those working sets. And when you're done, post that sweaty selfie so we can see all your hard work, and post a comment in the comment section to let us know what you thought. So we'll see you in the next one.